You're listening to the Rapley's Fusion Podcast.
Alright, what's occurring? Like, that kind of thing. It's just silly, isn't it? Like, the world has changed massively.
Hello, everybody, and as always, welcome to the Rapley's Fusion Podcast. Today, we are joined by Rhys Matthew, who is an actor who trained in musical theatre at the London College of Music and furthered his experience in the cruise ship industry, I'm led to believe, which is very interesting indeed, actually. Now looking for and expanding himself in more screen roles, Rhys has worked with independent filmmakers across the country. I'm also joined, of course, by the man behind it all, director of the Cheerleader short film, Ethan Ralph Alexander. As always. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to the chat, to the podcast.
Thank you for having me as a kind invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Nice to meet you. And Ethan, likewise, nice to see you as always.
Yeah, it's going to be a good chat. I've met Rhys briefly and seems like a great guy, so looking forward to it.
Likewise.
Awesome. Okay. So actually, Rhys, I'm going to start by saying that you are kind of different to the previous guests we've had on the podcast so far.
Oh, yeah.
For the reason that you haven't worked with Ethan yet before.
Not yet.
Right. That's right, isn't it? That's
right. Not yet.
Okay, so can you give us a bit of a kind of insight into kind of who you are, some of your previous roles, sort of stand out, stuff that you've worked on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the film and TV industry has sort of been a new kind of chapter for me since sort of mid-2024. Obviously, guys, I've done a little bit of cruise ship work. Sadly, I came across having a bit of an injury, so I had to branch out, obviously trained in musical theatre, been able to sing, act and dance. I have a bit of a long-term ACL injury, so I had to sort of go down to a different route and see what I could do. And I fell in love with sort of essay work to start with, and it was really nice to sort of get to sets and meet people. And essay work's hard, obviously, because you're used a lot of the time, and then you're not used a lot of the time. So it's a bit of a sort of hit and miss depending on the shoots and stuff. And then gradually, as I sort of developed my social media a little bit more with the persona of acting and finding out whether people had roles or whether they just needed extras, I just sort of networked through the sort of very lucky thing we now call social media to try and find the next sort of gig, I guess. And I'd describe it as that to a lot of people. These are very, very small jobs that are helping me build a really good portfolio, which is really great for me. I'd say the essay work's been an absolute benefit. The first couple of things I did were Manchester directors, Chris Green, Kieran Davis. There's a Wirral director called Benjamin Goodwin who I've just done a little feature for, which was great. It was my first sort of character role, playing some dodgy drug dealer. But again, the best part about all these things were just the little experiences on set, working with different directors, different teams. I've done a little bit of TV work with the BBC and Channel 4 this year, which is really fun. I've just done a recent sort of documentary style with Bear Grylls, which is really fun as well.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, it was a really good experience. It was obviously non-scripted, so it was real life. So obviously it's a little bit different for me with my sort of acting experience because it was having to sort of adapt to a camera in a real life situation.
Wow.
So they've been massively interesting experiences, and so far, I'm continuing to build and meet fantastic people like your friend here who's invited me on a podcast to share these bits of information. And I think the world that we live in is you guys will agree with me, I'm sure, it's a massive networking world to get to know people, understand what people are looking for, to build, the network of knowing what, characterization they're looking for and what kind of persona film and especially TV work I've realized are really looking for. And the world is competitive, so it's a pleasure to be able to be here to talk about it, really.
Hugely competitive. But it sounds like you're doing well out of it, especially considering you've been doing it for such a short space of time, really, by the sound of things.
I think you have to make what you want of it. I feel like there is part of life that I believe in my sort of background. I believe in my life sort of written out already, and I've just got to make the right choices to be able to find whatever path I go down. I feel like...
Sorry.
No, go on.
There's an element of manifestation there, I suppose.
Exactly. I think the world that we live in, you take a look at what goes on in the world, and you have to take everything, not seriously. You have to give it your best shot every day when you wake up and go, what is it that I want out of this day? What is it that I want to motivate myself to do next? And sometimes having these new sort of roles or new opportunities will always build really, really good opportunities going forward, and will help you branch to the next kind of thing. So it's again building portfolio, but also building relationships and societies around you that will really help you get those experiences.
I think a lot of actors kind of just purely do their acting or their performing, and sometimes they have like a side job. Do you have like a job you do, or are you purely focused on the acting and the performing, and that's all?
Yeah, I mean, any normal actor or someone in the industry will know that it's obviously not the most reliable industry to be in. You can get like a big gig, and then all of a sudden you don't get work for 10 years. Yeah. But I've grown up very luckily. My mum and dad have a family business. My uncle has a family business. So I work sort of part-time for both of them, which is so great for me because it allows my flexibility to be to a high level. And a lot of people will go, oh, aren't you lucky? It's like, I've just landed a unique circumstance and it's perfect for me. I feel like when when I've lived in London in the past, you've got to kind of meet the people in the industry who know it a bit to allow you to have flexible time off. But it's hard to build those relationships because it could take so long. Me taking myself away from the city, and I'm able to like settle at home for a little bit, do what I'm doing, and be able to be flexible and do those things. And you will have to travel because that's what the industry's about. So it's one of those.
Are you based up north, sorry?
I'm in Shropshire, yes. So I'm actually not far from Birmingham. The Midlands is not too far from me.
Shropshire. I was actually born in Shropshire.
Oh, whereabouts?
Shrewsbury.
Oh, well, I'm Oswestry, so Shrewsbury's not far from... You call it Shrewsbury, yeah? He's typical Shrewsbury man. No, Shrewsbury is not far. It's about 15 minutes from me. So. Yeah,
I was born... I moved when I was 3, though, so I didn't really spend much time there. And
I'm doing a show in Shrewsbury. Yeah, it's great. It's a great...
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a great place.
I must go back there. Anyway, we're deviating from the chat slightly, but that's all right. We like sometimes on this podcast, don't we, Ethan? We like to deviate sometimes.
But it was interesting that you said you had an ACL injury, because that's an injury that we explored in the film. How long did it take to recover, and what were your emotions like going through it?
Unfortunately, it's been one of those sort of problems since I was a kid. I obviously grew up playing football, and I was mucking about with my friends one afternoon and took a shot, and my leg just swung out of place, and my mates carried me up to my dad's car. And that was when I was 15, and I reckon on average it's probably happened a year and a half, on average every year and a half, 10 to 12 times since then. And I'm 27 now, which is a little bit of a long-winded process, but I'm sort of in the middle of a really intense physio. Emotionally, it's been hard because it's taken a little bit of my career away in terms of like musical theatre triple threat. I would always say I was more of an actor-singer, but to be able to learn to dance from the amazing people around you really brings your confidence up. I'm obviously not in a position right this current stage to flat out dance because I would never want to not ruin anything more, but jeopardise my future opportunity by doing something worse, which is a little bit sort of disappointing, really. But you have to make the best of the industry and the people that will offer you something else to help. And that is what I've been doing. And I think, yes, it is a little bit gutting, but I feel like there's so many opportunities out there within the acting world that you must just take advantage of them in any way you can. And whether or not it's film, TV, extras, theatre, where they can apply you not to be in so much choreography. Like I'm working with a fantastic team at the moment at Get Your Wiggle On in Shrewsbury. They're a award-winning musical theatre company, and we're doing their musical Everyone's Talking About Jamie, and they've cast me in it very luckily, and they're able to like assess where I can do stuff, and I really appreciate them as a fantastic team. So there are elements of industry professionals that can really sort of look out for you as well when you build relationships, and I think that's really important too.
Absolutely. You said, Rhys, that you've been acting since 2024. Did I hear that right?
I've been acting my whole life, but I feel like the TV and film industry has come to light since 2024.
Got you. But you've been on stage throughout your childhood, and
I think I was on stage when I was about 7, my first acting role. But it was started off as like very local Amdram plays, and then Stagecoach as a kid, and then it just grew really.
Actually, it kind of brings me to my next question. So we kind of interested in how you got into acting. So take us back. What kind of inspired you to get into, well, let's say performance when you were a kid, stage and all the rest of it? And going on from that, I think you went to the London College of Music. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. It was. As a kid, I sort of grew up in a really, really lovely part of Shropshire. My parents brought me up in the best possible way, gave me and my sister everything we'd ever dreamed of, and we were so lucky as kids. My dad used to sort of part-time run a social club just opposite the road from us. It was a cricket club. So I was sort of tied in a little bit of like, I liked performing, I liked getting up and singing at my granddad's like 50th birthday with a microphone, and it all started from that kind of thing. Then it was tied in with cricket, then it was, I love football. So there was like 3 different things going on. And my mum said to me, what is it that you love doing the most? And I just said, I love to perform. But I was so afraid as a kid to actually bring out my real self. I remember a performance when I was probably, God, I must have been 7 or 8, maybe a bit younger, I can't remember. But I actually wore a pair of sunglasses on stage because my inner emotion of characterization was like, I have a feeling nobody can see me, but I can see everybody else. And that's where my sort of passion came for it, because I thought I could use the sunglass technique until I build more confidence to actually perform. And it's a very, very odd story, and people laugh at me for it.
Actually, I get that to an extent, because I think that's kind of the same concept of being on camera in a way, because
that's right.
I like being on camera, like when I'm presenting or acting, and I feel like the camera is kind of a safety net again.
Exactly.
But the people watching, they can't see you, can they? And I like that. It's a similar concept, isn't it? Which is why it's much easier, I think, than stage when they can see you, or kind of live events, or kind of, you know, from a presenter's point of view, presentations and stuff. I much prefer to present to camera than I do a room full of people. Yeah,
and I feel like when you've got the aspect to work with camera, and you won't, unless you're an absolute once in a blue moon and get it on one take, it probably will never happen. But you've got time to get it right in a group of people. You've got to do it there, and then it's got to be right, and they'll know whether you've messed it up and stuff. But that was something on a very small level that I built from being into acting and performing. Then it got to Stagecoach. Then I grew and grew in school. Music and drama was just my thing. Got to college, and it was like, right, we're doing performing arts, BTEC diploma. Halfway through the sort of training, they were like, we're going to split it. It's either acting or musical theatre. And I kind of just fell in love with the group of people I was working with for musical theatre. I couldn't really sing. And one of my best, oldest friends, Mamma Mia star, Ryan Eberl, I call him, he works on the UK tour at the moment. And he was like, come on, you need to be able to get yourself singing. And if it wasn't for him, bless him, I'll always give him a shout. He's a really confident person that brought my confidence out in performing, especially right through college when I'd had a lot of I had a lack of confidence. And when you sort of get to the drama school age of like 17 and you're like, right, I've got to start looking at uni or drama school, it's a big thing really, because my dad had said like, well, you should look at some places in London, because, you know, it's a great city. It's where the performance is at. It's where the industry's at. And obviously being young, I took my dad's word for it. And I did, when I got there, I believed it fully, because I saw it there. And then you have the West End, and it's a massive place, London. And I got into 5 of the 6 drama schools that I applied for. And the one I didn't get into, I actually didn't like the audition. I didn't like the process at all. So it made so much sense to kind of go, right, this is it. This was partly written. Here we go. And I landed my first sort of foundation year, and then did 3 years after it. And I had probably the best 6 years in London of my life. And it was all about the people that I was around, and the opportunities that people gave you to sort of network and do this and do that. And I sort of went through a drama school that was part of a uni, so it wasn't like a flat out 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night gig. It really was like lectures in some ways, which taught you the sort of academic part of theatre and acting, TV. It gives you the skills now to be able to go forward and go, because I've done a dissertation and because I've been able to reflect on the work that I've done over the last 10 years, say, it's given me a great opportunity to go forward and go, my mind is a little bit more set on what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit and make stuff up of it, because I've got the experience from that university side of it too.
Okay. Yeah. So that's massively helped you then, the education part.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were on stage as well, weren't you, Jack? And you prefer presenting now, but your show Friday Night Breakfast Club came to you in a dream, didn't it? I was just wondering if Rhys had a dream
where
he was like, I want to be this as well.
It did actually, yeah. It came to me in a dream. That's kind of my main sort of project at the moment. It's kind of my passion project. But yeah, it came to me asleep, which is interesting.
I think passion projects. I've worked for a friend who did the feature film in the Wirral in Liverpool area, and he's done his film from a passion project since he was in year 8 at school.
Okay,
and he's been writing it since then, and I think that's really endearing actually, because like that's so much emotional memory from year 8 to now, and he's like a couple of years younger than me, like 25 or something like that. But that's a lot of time to really work on a feature length. It's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah. That's like cracking on for 15 years.
So just tell me a bit about what Ethan was saying then about you. You had a dream and...
Oh, well, yeah, no, just, it's this show I do at the moment. I produce it and co-host it, and it's called Friday Night Breakfast Club.
Wow.
And, it was kind of... It's kind of like I won't go too much into it because this isn't about me. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, but you were like on stage before, weren't you? Sort of acting. You definitely prefer the presenting side now.
But yeah, I prefer the presenting. And this dream, I was presenting this show, and it was like a live audience, and it's very sort of colourful. A bit like a program called The Big Breakfast back in the day, which inspired me. And I thought, there's something telling me I need to pursue this. This is an idea I need to do. Yeah. And eventually, I did, and it took a few years to get off the ground. But now it's proving fairly successful. So I just think it's testament to really kind of, it sounds such a cliche to follow your dreams, doesn't it? But I think if you have that kind of thing in the back of your mind, sort of niggling away saying, pursue it, you probably should, because that's something you're going to have passion behind. And if you have passion behind something, that gives you that extra drive to really pursue it properly and have that enthusiasm. I think at the end of the day, the enthusiasm which carries you through.
I think you often get the people perhaps a little bit older than ourselves on the call today, but people will always say like, oh, what are you going to do if it doesn't work out? And it's like, I don't have that in mind because that's never really crossed.
I think that's it.
That's it. There's no way else to describe it. I've had passion for it.
I think it's nice backups and other means of earning money. But I think always never stop.
No. No way.
Never stop pursuing it. I mean, sometimes stop pursuing it temporarily, or stop pursuing it as your sole thing if it's financially hard, but never stop pursuing it completely would be my advice.
But there'll be the things that get in the way that like it's really difficult not to stop.
Yeah.
But you just got to push through it, haven't you? And kind of
100%.
Never give up.
And I mean, you may have touched on this already, Rhys, but did the musical theatre training help you, do you think, with your acting career?
You often get the odd people who say, oh, where did you train? You say, oh, I trained in London. And like whenever anyone says like, oh, trained in London, oh, where? They always like to know. And I say, oh, London College of Music, I trained in musical theatre. And then some people within the industry will go, oh, right, so you're a musical theatre boy. And it's like, to be able to, and it reflects back to a practitioner I worked with when I was like 14, when I was doing Lander exams, to like help build confidence to read scripts, inner emotion, emotional memory, and building all these things as characters. And I remember her saying to me, what's the most important thing in acting? And I said, oh, I don't know, being able to sort of sing and dance. And she goes, to act. The most important thing in acting is to be able to act. If you can't act, you'll never be able to do anything else. And when people say to me, oh, you trained in musical theatre? All right. There's often like a differentiation of like, oh, he's a musical theatre guy, but he's trained as an actor, but he wants to do film and TV. I think there is probably somewhere along the line a crossover, because people will say, oh, musicals are totally different to like series on Netflix. It's like, they are, but if you spend time building character and you work on a character and you do a character profile if you have to, there's always a way to find what someone is looking for. And I think the idea of the acting world is there's so many different characters. And I've been reading your script, Ethan, and it's so funny because I get about 3/4 of the way through and start laughing because I know a script when I'm reading one, and it's really sort of comedic towards the end. And it's I without even saying it here, like I can kind of picture something really silly happening before it's even happened. That's how my head works. I'll read something and go, "Oh my god, I can imagine how that looks," and it'll end up being something completely different to what I can picture. But it's nice to have that imagination because you have to use your imagination in situations. And that's why with training in musical theatre, yes, I'm able to hold tunes and sing and dance away, but I feel like it all comes from that heart of being able to act and having your brain structured to think, right, this is what I've been given, this is what it says. I'm going to read it, I'm going to write some notes, I'm going to work on it and figure it out. And there's so much time, if you give yourself enough time to figure that out and actually put that into perspective, then actually you build relationships with people so much easier because it means you put the time in, you put the effort in, and you get a good result, which is really important.
And I think you do a lot of accents, I'm told. Is this right?
I have fun.
You like doing accents?
Yeah, accents are just fun. Just really fun.
So do you have a favourite accent that you like to do?
I tend to just mimic people. I worked with the director once. He was from Northern Ireland, and I was doing some script in Northern Irish. That was funny. I like Netflix series, so if it's set in Liverpool or like Manchester, I'm playing like a guy from Sheffield at the moment. So I'm trying to find the Sheffield lingo, like up north and all that, you know what I'm saying? But it's so difficult because I'm Shropshire. I don't really have an accent. It's like everyone says, "Oh, you're definitely posh." It's like, well, if you're from Shropshire, no Shropshire, it's not posh. We just don't have an accent.
It's true, actually. Really, is there?
We don't. We're sort of like, no offense to Ethan. Ethan is quite obviously a Brummie. He's got a Brummie accent. But with the difference between me and him is we are based in Shropshire and we're literally just above the Midlands, and then we're going on border of North Wales. So it's like you've got a mix of North Walian / Shropshire / Midlander, and it's like it's not really clear what kind of accent it is.
The hodgepodge, isn't it? Can you do a Welsh accent?
Yeah.
I can already hear a bit of Welsh.
But you can already hear a bit Welsh.
Yeah.
It depends. Is it South Walian and North Walian? Because North Walian I can't do. South Wales, it's a bit like watching Gavin and Stacey, isn't it? It's just like, all right, what's occurring? Like that kind of thing. It's just silly, isn't it? Like, bless them. The South Welsh are just brilliant. There's such a great sense of humour. But I tell you what's challenging accent is Brummie. Brummie accents are really hard to do.
Yeah. I think when
a lot of people go into the Black Country a bit.
Like the Black Country and like, all right, how are you? Like it falls into that a bit. It's just Peaky Blinders to me, Birmingham now.
You're going down Blues on Saturday. They played well Saturday. It's a bit less like that.
Oh, unless you're a Villa fan. All right, the Villa.
Right.
The Witten.
Coventry. How about Coventry accent? Does anyone?
I don't know what that would be. Coventry. I don't know. Is it posh Birmingham Coventry? I don't know.
I always think the Coventry accent's a bit like a cross between Brummie and Cockney, if you can imagine that.
Cockney's so like straightforward, isn't it? But then Coventry, my God.
It's got the harshness of Coventry, and then it's got like the Midlands kind of
twang.
Brummie, it's a bit like that. It's a bit like, you're right. That's a bit. Go and say cover on Saturday. Go and have a bash in the bath. Quite harsh.
And then they transition to, yeah, mate, can do. You're right, son. How you doing?
Oh, how's it going?
How you doing? You're right.
It's a bit, it's kind of like, it has a funny old accent, Cov. That's what they speak like. So I live in Leamington Spa.
Are you Leamington Spa? Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought people from Leamington were quite posh.
Everyone says that. It depends, though. It depends. It's a real class divide in them, actually.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like Cov speakers in Lem, I'd say, for sure.
What overall, an answer to your question, the accent thing, it's more of passion for me. I just love doing it. If I meet someone who's like from somewhere random, like I've met a Geordie recently, it was like, how are you doing? Like, you just laugh and join in with their bravado.
Yeah, you find you mimic them, because I do.
Yeah, exactly. You just
sometimes you don't mean to, but I can't. It's called echolalia, isn't it? When you
That's right.
You mimic someone. But I'm ADHD as well, and I think it's sometimes they say it's a symptom of ADHD.
Oh, do you know, it's quite funny though, because if someone's on the right level with you, you can join in with you. You have such a laugh from it, and I think that's where my love for it came from.
Yeah,
You know, I can't do anything mad. Just
also, do you find that you do accents sometimes as like? Because I was like quite shy as a kid. I still am sometimes. Like, do you find you do it as like a sort of defense, almost not a defense mechanism, but kind of like a, I don't know, like a safety blanket?
Yeah, a safety blanket. A safety blanket for humour. Say like someone gets offended by it, or someone's like not in the right frame of mind, and then you think, oh, I'm going to try and cheer them up with some like humour, but you do it in like some wacky accent. Yeah,
you don't do it in your own accent.
So have you ever been cast as someone that has to, have an accent? And how do you get into character?
I got cast, and it never actually went through. It was a guy called Shaney. He was a Northern Irish guy, and he said, I'm looking. It was someone who I worked with in Manchester on a film, and she said, oh, I'll recommend you this director. He's looking for someone in his mid-20s who can do Northern Irish. And to be honest, to get like the dialect, you have to I have to like be with someone who's Northern Irish on a call like you guys to hear them speak so much, because then I start picking it up like quite well, and like, oh my God, where's your dignity? Like, it'll just fall in nicely. But then all of a sudden, if you're not with someone, like one of my best friends from drama school is Northern Irish, and I say, if I send you this script, can you just like say all the lines, and I'll just listen to it. And eventually, if you listen to something so much, I've done it on ships where you've had to learn like a different like language, and I've had to learn German. I had to learn one song 390 times to get it right. And like, it's a bit like that with accents. If you hear something, to be able to get into the character, you build the character in your head, and then you read the line. I mean, I read the lines to myself looking in a mirror, which seems ridiculous, but I think it's quite a common way for anyone to get into character. You read it in the mirror, and then it's almost like that look, cover, write, check thing. If you're learning lines from a book, you're like, look, you cover it, you say it, and then you look back and you write it, or you say it. I do look, cover, write, say. And then eventually, actually like going around in a circle, you say it more, and then you end up saying it in your sleep. You wake up and you say it again, and then you say it randomly. And I sort of just talk to myself sometimes, and then people are like, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I was just speaking some lines. Like, I just worked with my uncle, like packing boxes, and he has a cardboard box manufacturing plant, and I'm just packing pallets, and I'm talking to myself, and the lads I'm working with are like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm sound. I'm just trying to say these lines, and people just think I'm crazy. But it's just weird ways in the normal life, in a normal day, to get into this character. I have to just do it, otherwise it won't ever sink in. Repetition is the answer.
Oh yeah, repetition. I hate that question that non-actors always ask when they see you in a play. How did you learn all those lines? Just like
that is the easiest way. And like, whether or not, like, I actually find an easy thing for actors now is if someone gives me a script, I will look at it for a number of days. Like, I'm learning this script currently, and you learn it, or you look at it, and then you put it away for a few days, and actually it naturally sinks in. Instead of you looking at it 50 times a day going, oh, why isn't this just sinking in? You go to sleep on it. It's like a song. I've learned if you go to sleep on it, you wake up, you'll know the words to it, or like you'll know the dialect of what you're looking for, or you'll know like the sort of inflection in the voice of what the stage direction say. You just pick it up naturally.
The moment when it clicks in well, it's usually for me in the rehearsal process, but that's a great
but that's fine too.
Clip before that. It clicks when I'm in costume, actually. Not that's when I'm true, actually.
Yeah.
If I'm on stage, no, it doesn't click till I'm in the costume with the character. It's actually quite.
But that's quite nice, really, because that's you fully endeavouring yourself.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? I can't inhabit a character unless I'm in the costume of the character. So I'm sure that's quite a common thing. But
it is a common thing in a way. When I did something recently in Liverpool, this guy said, "Oh, bring what you really want to get into character," and I brought a dressing gown because I thought. It was a house party and he was a drug dealer. And I thought some idiot drug dealer that I knew in London years ago arrived in a dressing gown. So I used emotional memory and thought, I'll just try that, and it worked. And it's something so stupid, but it works if you think about it. It's
you're drawing on real life experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Helping it. So here's quite a serious question.
Go on.
It's a big question. Do you have like a dream role, so any kind of character you might want to play, and going from that, what are your kind of aspirations in the world of acting, performance, going forward? Like, where would you? Oh God, it sounds like such a job interview question, doesn't it?
No, it's not at all.
I almost hate myself asking this, but where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I feel so dirty.
No, that's not dirty at all. That's
myself after this.
It's an important question to ask yourself all the time, and I feel like checking in with yourself is always good. Checking in with other people too. It gives you a bit of a realization in life of what you want to do. I think in the world of performance, there's so much that you can build on. I mean, I trained as an actor, musical theatre lad, but then I've divulged into TV and film. And I feel like the network of what performance has is so big. I remember my drama school leaflet saying, from this degree, you can be an actor, a singer, a puppeteer, a musician. There was like a list of like longer than what we've been on this call. And you'd be looking at it thinking, God, there's so many things that you could learn to be here. So I think whatever sort of industry you have planned for yourself or whatever you keep finding yourself, it's just building a little bit of a bridge towards... when I grew up, I wanted to be James Bond. Look, he's right behind me on my wall. Like, this is ridiculous, Daniel Craig. But but in the real world, like, to be James Bond, you have to be something really, really specific and really built and, cool, whatever. Yeah. You've got to like sort of be reasonable with yourself and look at the real world and look at what is currently in the world. And I chatted with Ethan not long ago about his script and what he's been doing. And you said about the horror films from the past, right? And we talked about The Sixth Sense. Well, prospectively, The Sixth Sense is now very different to, like, I don't know, something in the current cinema which is like Winnie the Pooh horror. Like, it's totally different. Like the original sort of horror from the 80s and then this. The world has changed massively. It's more sort of generational in terms of technology, new casting directors, new ideas, the opportunity with bigger budgets compared to what they used to be. So the idea of the world being taken over by those opportunities are great. But sometimes I always reflect back to the originals and think, oh my God, they were like great. That's why I loved all the Bond films when I grew up. My dad brought me up on Bond. Oh, absolutely, loved them.
Proud about Bond. Do you have a favourite Bond film?
Probably Live and Let Die, the original sort of, older Bond films. But new ones, like I love Spectre, Skyfall, like Daniel Craig is like a big hero for me. But I think my dream would be like, I know it sounds a bit retro or whatever. I'd love to be in something like Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders would be my casting because people often say like, oh, haircut, skin fade. Like if I have a fade, like I could fit a bracket of a Peaky Blinder. And I love doing the action. I love messing around as, I impersonate Paul Anderson as Arthur Shelby. It's so stupid, but I know like times have synced since then. Something like that. I could see myself in like in between this kind of stuff because I'm a kind of a laddie lad. And if you like get a group of lads together, that's why I've been laughing at Ethan's script because he says like hangover kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's just hilarious because it's one of my favorite films ever. So you relate to stuff that you could possibly see yourself in. It might not mean you'll ever be in it like it, but a Netflix series with something that's just like funky, who's got like a funky character or a character that's just doesn't have to be funny or doesn't have to be serious, just someone to just mess around with or just someone to just play serious with or just multiple roles. And comedy. The answer is so hard. It's so hard.
Like comedy?
Comedy's great, yeah.
I love comedy. I think it's my favourite. I reckon you could play Bond probably as well. I don't... Give yourself another 5 years, 10 years. Well, probably not because they're casting now for the new one. He's going to be
pretty much anytime soon.
He's going to be Bond for the next decade, at least, isn't he, probably? Do you have any favourites you'd like to see play Bond?
I personally, obviously, after everything with Timothy Chalamet, I don't really see him as Bond because I feel like he's
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, well, he was originally in there somewhere, wasn't he? But he's an example of someone who's built a current film network of like the modern day. He's quite a well-known actor, but I can't see him as Bond because he just Timothy Chalamet just doesn't.
Chalamet still no.
And like obviously they've talked about having like Idris Elba. They talked about Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy.
They're all too old.
They are too old.
They are because
they are too old.
Well, look at the time they take to make these bloody films now. If they were
exactly,
they take. I don't want to get into a whole rant about it, but I'm just sick of how long they take to make these Bond films now. And I think, in my view, I'm a massive James Bond fan, like massive. but I don't want to make this about James Bond. But you've got me started now. But in my view, they're treating it with a bit too much reverence. In my view,
Too right. Yeah.
they're taking it a little bit too seriously. Bond for me is not a super serious franchise.
No.
It's a fun franchise. It's about escapism. And I get worried when I hear all these reports about the new film. And Stephen Knight, he's a great writer, and Denis Villeneuve is a fine director. But I'm not sure they're quite suited to Bond. I mean, after the Daniel Craig films, I wanted something a bit more fun, a bit more lighthearted, maybe, with some serious undertones, sure. But for me, Bond is like sticking to the formula, and it doesn't sound like they're going to stick to what we know as the Bond film formula. So, Bond girls, big villains, standalone stories, which I think is really important going forward.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of Bond being like a continuous sort of timeline, particularly.
Yeah.
Films following on, like the Craig films, they all followed on from each other. They try to make it one sort of overarching plot, which I don't think. I just want to see Bond go on a mission.
Exactly. You want to see him go on a mission, be the hero he is, kill them, and
complete the mission, done. Film something completely different.
And the first little bit of that after the original Pierce Brosnan film was Casino Royale, because it was completely different with a new in 2006 with a new sort of set altogether, filming in some of the best places in the world. And then since then, you've got like all these different Bond films after that, and they're all great. And that's why I like Spectre so much, because it kind of ties in the first three films. And then No Time to Die, it's almost like, did that need to happen? Not really, but they've made it anyway because Bond lives on. But
that was I think it's going to be like super serious, and like it's going to be probably an origin story, which I don't want to be either. I don't care about Bond's origin particularly. I just want to get straight in there, see Bond be Bond. Personally, that's just me. Anyway, this has now become a James Bond discussion.
This is good because I love Bond. It's fine. Sorry, love Bond.
We like to ask every guest on this podcast this question. And it's a two-pronged question, so get ready. One, what's your favourite film of all time? And two, who would play you in a film of your life?
If I was to play me?
No, which actor, living or dead, would play you in a film of your life?
Oh, God, I have to think about that one. My favourite film ever is... It's a mix. It's a tie of two. It's either The Wolf of Wall Street, Leo DiCaprio.
A good film.
And it's also based on semi-true events with the original Jordan Belfort. So, like, as much as it's a crazy story, I feel like, and it's not for the reason that Margot Robbie's in it, as much as she's a stunner. It's not for that reason. Like, it generally is just a good film.
Yeah, it is.
Slash, and like controversial, Tom Cruise in Cocktail in 1980, whenever it was.
Do you know what? I watched Cocktail for the first time.
What?
Last year, actually.
Really?
Bloody loved it.
Yeah.
And I checked reviews, and it got slated at the time, and it's been slated since.
Yeah, it was slated for a very absurd reason. I'm not really sure what, but...
Having said that, I think it tails off in the second, or like the last third. I was like, it kind of like the first 3 quarters are good, and the last quarter, it sort of tails off into sort of nothingness, in my view. But I think he's really good in it. He's a great actor. He's actually one of my favourite actors, Tom Cruise.
I think what I liked about it was I watched it when I was young. My parents got me into it because, they watched it as kids and they're like, oh, it's a great film, you'll have to watch it. And I think what I fell in love with was him as an actor in the film. He started off in New York doing what he was doing, or wherever he was, whatever city it was, and he'd come back from the army. He wanted to make himself go. And that's what inspiration got me into hospitality in London, because I was like, I could be the next bartender Tom Cruise.
No way.
Obviously wasn't, because I got more into like waiting and stuff and like making tips and having a living. And then he had that tiny little bit of his life where he moved to like Jamaica and ran his own cocktail bar. And I've always thought, if I could, I would just go work in Jamaica for a year and just work behind a bar at the beach and just do it, just to like meet locals and just live.
Cocktail thing. Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a semi-inspiration. And then obviously there's that part of like meeting, at the time when I was young, I was like, meeting like a nice girl out there in Jamaica and having a family, and like that sort of sticks in there as well, for sure. But that, it's a tricky one. Yeah, it definitely, those two films stand out for me.
And who's playing you?
Before you answer that,
I
just wanted to say, Wolf of Wall Street is like 3 hours long, is it?
That's
or
right.
3 hours. And some films, like, as a filmmaker, you want to watch as many films as possible just to learn from it. Some films are like, you look at how long you've been watching for, and you're just like, I thought it was like halfway through. Now we're only 10 minutes in. It just drags on. From where Wolf of Wall Street, it's just like, it feels like an hour and a half. It's just gone all the way through, isn't it? And I think that's a massive achievement when you can make a long film like that, but it just feels like a lot of fun. So that's a great choice.
And I think it's because when you get glued to a character, I'm obviously glued very heavily to Leo because he plays not like everyone wants to be Leo because of the position he's in, but you see how he built himself as a salesman. Then he went into stocks and shares in one of the biggest places on Wall Street in was it the 80s or 90s or whenever it was, and then into modern day. Mm-hmm. And he does that thing where he manifests trying to be good and then shows the bit of confidence that he has in a tiny little retro office and buys himself a sports car like off Pink Sheets, and then eventually gets really, really big, really big, really big. And it's almost like a little bit of a, I wonder if I could start small, doing small bits and building a portfolio to get where I'd like to be. To be honest with you, and I said this to someone recently, the world for what it is, the industry for what it is in terms of being someone, sort of well known. I like the industry for just going to a shoot, playing my character and having a brilliant time and meeting the people that are there with me. I'm not really like the kind of person who want to be like having cameras flashing in my eyes for the rest of my life and being paid 10 million per day of being on set like that. I mean, that's mad. But like, I don't, money and the fame thing has never really interested me with the arts. It really is to do with the opportunity of performance. And if you gather your performance from like when you're a kid to where I am now, I've enjoyed nearly everything I've done. So I can't ever say like, oh God, I didn't like that because I get paid for it. I can't think about that first because I just enjoy it too much to worry.
Yeah, it's the energy, the buzz.
Yeah, it's the adrenaline. It's
the buzz, it's the bolt, it's the blue. Have you seen the film called Sexy Beast, by the way?
Yes, I've seen bits of it. I've just never finished it.
It's a great film, one of my favourite films. Ethan, have you seen it?
No, I have. I know what you're talking about though. Is it
both
Ray Winston?
Watch Sexy Beast and get back to me. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think of a person. Sorry. Playing me.
But yeah.
It's hard. That's a really hard question. I feel like it would have to be someone who's a little bit ditzy because I'm slightly just on one of those wavelengths where if you catch me just talking to myself, it's just a bit funny, isn't it? You look at me like, oh, you're one of them. It's like, yeah. But you look at people who play characters in films, I can't really relate to it, really. I don't know. That is really difficult.
Do you want me to help you out a bit?
Yeah, go on. Help me.
I've already said to you about Matt Smith a bit.
Matt Smith. I obviously everyone resembles me, Matt Smith, with my look because you obviously will find someone in your life that looks like someone. I've had Matt Smith more than many occasions, and I think Matt Smith lands the perfect life in the way that he is. He has the right amount of fame, as in like you could walk past him in London and there wouldn't be like 50 photographers behind him.
No,
he would just be going somewhere where he's going.
And I think that's the best kind of fame, isn't it? I think
best kind of fame ever.
It's nice to be recognised for your work.
Oh my God, yeah.
But not to be swamped, and not to be like a mega A-lister, but to be well known and recognised, and that's all. I think
obviously Doctor Who fans might cause a bit of a scene, but
yeah, oh my God, yeah. If you're known for something like, yes, you know what? If Tom Hardy walked through London, he'd be swarmed because he's so many characters in the world. Yeah. It's not that Matt Smith isn't, but Matt Smith humbles his career for what he enjoys. I don't think like there's so much. I mean, I haven't noticed it, but there's not a certain. I look at people like who I slightly resemble in a way, and I think, does he take a backlash from stuff? Not really, apart from the obvious people who like to write rumours about people. But that's just anyone in the celebrity world. There's always going to be something that's not true. But if I was to walk past him, like I was on the tube once in London, and Sam Smith was stood less than 10 yards from me on the other end of the tube, and we were coming from a part of North London that was like, retrospectively, no one would have really known who Sam Smith was. And I noticed him and I was like, oh my God, Sam Smith. And he kind of looked at me as if to say, please don't make this obvious because I've kind of got away with it so far. So I don't want anyone to sort of like jeopardize me now I'm getting off at Green Park. And he walked off the tube, but it was like the funniest situation ever. He just walked down the tube, not a person batted an eyelid. And that's just amazing. That was a one-off situation in life. And I don't know how that's possible. It was like 2018. And he was at the peak of like his really good music. And it was wild. So yes, agreed, Ethan. Matt Smith is the correct amount of energy as an actor. You know, maybe I could play a funky doctor or funky doctor play me. I don't know. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I can see it. I can totally. I didn't see it before Ethan said it, but now Ethan...
Yeah. And people often do that. I've had the most strange resemblance to actors. I've had Matt Smith, and then you've seen Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I actually, like the original, if I slick my hair back, people think I look like George McFly, Marty McFly's dad.
Oh, the dad, right? Yeah.
Some guy said it to me years ago. I was like, thanks, and he was like, yeah, it's not a bad thing. He goes out with that really nice girl in the film. And I was like, oh, okay, cheers.
Yeah, I've had worse. So I'm going to sort of wrap things up now.
Sure.
Rhys, with a question.
Yeah.
Final sort of question. So, your latest TV appearance, I believe, is currently on BBC iPlayer. Is that right?
That's right.
And it's called Wild Reckoning.
Mm-hmm.
And it shares the lives and journeys of people's relationships that have sort of fallen apart with the help of, you mentioned him earlier, Mr. Bear Grylls. I don't think you kind of described how that sort of came about. So, yeah, how did that sort of come to fruition? And what was Bear like to work with as well?
I got approached by a researcher for the BBC, and they were searching in the local area. So this company are based in Wrexham, and they were looking for sort of North Wales local people. I mean, there was people from all over the UK doing this, but at the time they were looking in this area if there was anything unique. And they said, do you have any situations, anyone where you have like an awkward relationship? And as it happened, my friend Niall, I mean, we're very, very close now, very tight. We've known each other for a long time. However, there was a little bit of a distance because Niall lost his brother to suicide a number of years ago. And we kind of sort of fell off on our relationship just a little bit. And the relationship that we had before was perhaps not there. We kept in contact, but not as much. And obviously, I reflected this story back to the BBC. And basically, because they kind of fell on the story and not liked it in that sense, but they thought this is something we can work with, they offered me an opportunity to ask Niall if he wanted to be part of it. And I texted him and said, look, this is going to be totally random. No, I haven't spoken in a while, but BBC have asked me, blah, blah, blah. And I expected him to probably say no. And then he turned around and was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was a fantastic 2 days in the wilderness with Bear Grylls, who is, I will say in the easiest words, probably the most gentle man I've ever met, with so much sort of wisdom and confidence, resilience to help people pull through the biggest and hardest points in their life.
That's amazing. And sorry, going back to you said you pitched it to the BBC, effectively.
Yeah, like they asked me if I had any unique situations, and I said I've got a friend who I've sort of felt.
So just tracking back slightly, how did you get into that original dialogue, that conversation with the BBC? They asked you, but how did they get in touch with you? You got in touch with them, sorry?
They found me through like a portal of like acting and stuff to do with being an actor as a kid. And they said, this isn't acting, but it's a BBC documentary that we can possibly put you in for. And I said, oh, I grew up as an actor, but, you know, and they said, this is non-scripted. And I said, oh, okay, well, I have got a bit of a situation. And I gave it back to them. I said, this is what's happened. You know, you guys take it or leave it. They came back and they were like, you know, we really like your story. And if it's something you're both comfortable working with, we'd love to be able to help you. And it was email, phone call, email, Zoom call. And then that was it. We drove up to North Wales. Well, I drove up, Niall drove up separately. And then we came together and we had 2 days in complete mayhem because we didn't know what to expect. And it was probably 2 of the best days of my life. But
that's insane.
It was very, very open, very, very good chance to be honest. And obviously I said to Ethan, it was difficult for me because I'm an actor, and it was the first time I didn't have to play a role. I was playing myself. And sometimes being on camera in that moment, you haven't prepared anything. You just have to speak from your heart. And sometimes that takes a real emotional deflect, and you have to go into yourself and think, what is it that I'm going to say that means something to me? And, to find those opportunities. It was amazing. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I would definitely say, because it's a good opportunity to, if anyone ever is struggling to get in contact with someone, or if anyone ever needs any help, I'm always there on social media to talk to about the experience, because I'd like to be able to help anyone who's struggling with the same problem. We've had a really, really good emotional response from it. A lot of sort of local people have been like, oh, it's really nice, it's a really nice story. And there are people out there who struggle, whether it's with the smallest things or the biggest things in life. The best thing to do is be able to talk. And I think in the modern day, when we utilize our sort of connections made around us, we have to keep in touch, smile, and live every day like it's our last, because you never know where the world's going to go.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And it's on iPlayer. And what channel did it go out on? It
went out on BBC Wales straight away, and we were the first episode, which was nice. It was quite nice for me and Niall, because we shared that experience, and also it was sort of quite personal with our sort of friendship, and it was a chance for us to sort of sit back after everything that happened and go, right, let's watch it back. And it was BBC Wales, I think in January, we were the first episode, and then it's been commissioned for BBC England now, because it's done well with the Welsh channel. So now it's on BBC iPlayer, and they get repeated. So it'll be on daytime TV on BBC Two in the afternoon on a Monday or a Tuesday, I think.
Oh, right.
And eventually it comes back round. After all the episodes have been played, it'll be like another repeat of episodes.
Yeah.
But it'll be on BBC iPlayer for the next year. So, and it's called Friends Divided in Grief, I think, or Friends Divided with Grief, something like that.
That's the name of the episode?
Yeah, Friends Divided with Grief.
Got you. Okay. And just one final question. Did you find it, your friend, who was in it with you, did he have any prior experience with acting, performance, or anything like that, or not at all?
Me and Niall met through Amdram when we were kids.
So he did, right. Did you both find the cameras intrusive at first, or did you how was that?
I think for the experience for acting and being involved in stuff, I'd obviously said to him a separate moment away from like what was filmed. I said, are you comfortable with this before we take this any further? Because obviously we're not playing roles here. This is like a real life thing. And he's like, this is fine, because I feel like it's an opportunity for us to break ground and talk about our relationship and what's gone wrong. And I said, I know, but the whole reasoning behind it is we're sharing a story out there, and this is quite personal for you. And he said it would be something my brother would want me to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be a great result for us, so let's work together and do it. And it was so warming for someone who, he's a fair few 5 years younger than me, but he is my little brother, so
yeah,
it's
closer together.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. We were out for a pint the other day, went for a drive. We actually filmed a podcast together recently as well, which is nice. So they're all about sharing experiences. So
yeah, absolutely lovely. Have you been recognised together?
We in our local pub we would be, yeah, but that's the nicest thing about this situation is we don't want anything, related to like, oh look, it's them. Oh look, that's it. We appreciate the experience. It brought us closer together. It's sending out a message to people who are dealing with similar stuff and saying, look, if anyone needs any help, if anyone needs anything, we're the two people to help you, because we've experienced it, we've been through it.
Yeah.
And Niall works within the screen acting world in Bristol at Old Vic, so he's having he's not at the end of this because of the Bear Grylls experience, because he's had a similar sort of running theme as an actor as a kid. So, but it was a very big challenge doing non-scripted stuff, because there's no time to build character. You're being you, so it's pretty tough.
It was great to hear.
Amazing experience.
Just then, it was great to hear. Like you said that it was a great experience, because it's such a negative thing happening. Where he's lost his older brother, and recently I lost a friend to suicide.
Right.
And when I had a call with you, I was like really relating to you about the football stuff. Like, you're a football fan.
Yeah.
You're into filmmaking. But when you said that, it was like everyone's kind of going through something and you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to kind of deal with it is to turn these negatives into positives.
Yeah.
And it was emotional to watch. So you both did a great job, and it's just something that affects so many people.
It's the thing in the world, Ethan, where you wake up and you don't ever realize what the other person that you're going to come across is going through in a day, because some people will never share that experience or that, that story. And we must give the greatest amount of time to everyone in the world, despite who they will be or what they will do. There's always opportunities to break middle ground, and I've been through it. I'm sorry to hear about your friend, because it's horrible. It's a horrible experience. And what it does do for us is we learn from the experience, and there may never be an answer to why it happened, but we can grieve and accept that it has happened, and we can use the logic of that person and what they were and resemble something to them in your life when you're doing something. And I grew up knowing a little bit about Niall's brother. I gamed with him, and every time I game now, I think, I remember gaming with him, like this was something he really liked. And it's emotional memory sometimes to find those opportunities with people who are close to you. And you never know what happens in life, do you? You just have to keep connected in every possible way with everyone who's out there, because we have one shot. This is it. And this is why it's so great to talk to people like yourselves, because we're interested in similar stuff. We have so much we can talk about here. I'd sit with you for another 3 hours if we had time to talk. But it's so nice because you guys have given me the opportunity to do it, and I really appreciate it. So,
thanks. I think that's a lovely way to end it.
Yeah, I know you've got an X-ray to go to as well.
Yes. Well, no, my time is not set till past, so that's okay.
I think we've made new connections here today, so that's lovely. And
absolutely, it's what it's all about.
Thanks, Rhys, so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you, Rhys.
And thanks as always for kind of being here, being you. Thank you for being you, Ethan.
Thank you for being you, Ethan. That's what we need.
And this has been the Rapley's Fusion Podcast. Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye bye.
So I just thought I'd end this episode with a few helplines for suicidal thoughts. You can call the NHS 24 hours every day on 111. Samaritans, for everyone, call 116 123. And you can also text SHOUT to 85258. Call a GP, ask for an emergency appointment. There is a lot of help out there for people. When I received the news that Jay had passed, it was from my friend Charlie from school. And on my laptop I have all our old films that we made together. So whilst The Cheerleader is my first film, I did have a PSP with a camera attached to it that, when we went over to have sleepovers at Charlie's house, at like 10, 11 years old, we sort of filmed our own sort of horror films, sort of little parodies of Paranormal Activity and vampire films, and Jay was a part of that. It's just really disappointing, the timing of this news that I received on the 2nd of March, which was also a day where I was heading to the Northampton Film Festival. So I was watching those films and thinking about him and his family. Yeah, I tried to reach out to Jay and let him know that I'm thinking about doing a second film, and I found these old films that we've made, and that's what the timing is so horrendous, really, because it comes at a time where I wanted to reunite with my childhood friends and school friends and watch these films back that we'd made, and go and create another one. And the film The Cheerleader had helped me so much with my own personal issues and struggles. So I know how filmmaking could have really helped him. And that's why it's just so difficult, because I do believe that working on a film and working on something creative really does help get yourself out of that, low mindset. And as I said, I tried to reach out to Jay, but there was no answer, and that was quite a few years back. And then at the start of this year, I tried to find him again on social media, let him know that I'd made a film and that I'd found these old films that we'd made together, and I couldn't find his social media account. He must have took it down at the start of the year, and obviously in March I got that news. So yeah, really, really disappointing. Really, just devastating. Now, a few months later, it still hurts a lot, and it's always gonna be that, because I hadn't seen him obviously since we were kids. If someone listening to this is struggling, there is loads of help. It is obviously difficult to talk to people about it, so that's why doing something like filmmaking and kind of putting your thoughts and feelings into characters, and the struggle of Eve overcoming an injury and the space that she was in, not being able to do what she loves, and she doesn't know when she can return, and the uncertainty of that, and the loneliness of that, in characters like Zara not feeling a part of the community, or a character like Michael's character who has a barrier to participating in sport. Deirdre feeling like her best days are behind her. All going through something, all the characters, and they all come together after sharing that, and so yeah, it's in the film. It's my feelings in the film, and the feelings of many people out there that feel like they're just wondering how to get through that difficult period. So filmmaking has just helped so much. It's just so devastating that I couldn't include Jay within that, because I believe it would have helped him so much, and the people listening right now that are sort of struggling. You'll have negative experiences in the film, but because it's personal to you, you push through it, and you say, well, I'm making this. Going back to the first episode of this podcast, when Jack asked, do people have a favourite moment of the film? Marley said the kidnapping scene. Georgia also seemed to like that scene, and the kidnapping scene, the reason why the characters were kidnapped was because they were trapped. They were trapped with these emotions, and that was kind of a thing of like, these people are all going through something at this point, and they're also feeling trapped. They're also feeling stuck with that, but they do get through that. They do get past that, and they make a friendship through them all kind of opening up. I would recommend for people struggling to kind of just write it down, and how do I flip this negative feeling that I'm going through into a positive, where I can write this script and then reach out to people, and it attracts people that have gone through injury also, and gone through difficult times as well, that they could relate to the character, and so you're speaking to people that way as well, and new people as well, and talented people, and part of this podcast is like just having those guys on that just found really kind of interesting, that achieved some amazing things. And now after the film, there's a lot of people there that, like Rhys today, had gone through something similar, and I can just talk to people on this podcast, and it's been so transformational. So the filmmaking really helped. But as I say, the helplines are out there too. There's a lot of help nowadays. It's just so difficult to know that I won't see him again, but on the next film, we will dedicate it to Jay, and my thoughts are, of course, with his family, his younger brother that I knew, that we shared some memories with, going to by Discovery and watching movies at the cinema and stuff like that. Even though it was over 10 years ago and was a long time ago, I still remember his family and my thoughts with them.